So Jack Doherty's past adventures have finally caught up with him. All these videos he's posting with groups of girls, like he didn't just ask them, hey, can I take a video with you real quick? Alright, cool, go. Are going to be a lot more weirder from here on out. If you don't know who Jack Doherty is, then you're probably my mom. So let me educate you, mommy. Jack Doherty is a piece of shit. That's all, you're all caught up. Don't leave a comment. I love you, but if you leave a comment, I will scold you like Vitaly did his mom.
I ask one simple thing. When I work, when I do my live streams, do not comment all my shit.
But he's basically one of those kids who thinks because they have money, that gives him an excuse to do whatever he wants. When in reality, what he does isn't even that bad. Aside from his security guard punching someone and those fake fights he does with the Island Boys, he's basically a 2019 Jake Paul with no entertainment value whatsoever other than having an OnlyFans girl with him. He was actually more creative when he was 13 years old making videos. Now all he does is walk around with groups of people being obnoxious in public. You know how you can see a video if you hover over it? Go back about 6-7 months, and from then until now, hover over each of his videos and he's either at his house, at another streamer's house, and or talking about his fucking Lamborghini. With how much this little twink makes, him showing off his Lamborghini is the equivalent to us showing off a fucking Prius. But for some time now, Jack has been accused of grooming underage girls and then signing them to an OnlyFans contract when they turn 18, hence the group of girls he's always with. Now I first heard about this back in December when the streamer Natalie Reynolds was literally making tweet after tweet calling out Jack for the shitty things he's done, not just to her, but to the girls he's currently with. She would say things like, I was the first person involved years ago and know how this dirty operation works, glad to be gone, and oh, by the way, the grooming thing ain't a joke, lol. This girl was 17 and Jack waited months for her birthday to get her drunk and sign a contract on a yacht. But with the reputation she had given herself, people were replying with things like this, and instead of actually being concerned, because she was so much of a piece of shit herself, no one was going to humor her accusations and instead just made fun of her. But like the meme says, the worst person you know just made a great point. Several of them, to give her credit, but now this time it isn't just some random girl calling him out. So we finally get to see what Jack Doherty in damage control mode actually looks like right before our very fucking eyes.
Alright, so this is the last thing I want to address because I think it's the last thing I have to address, but basically there's this rumor saying that I sign minors to OnlyFans, get them drunk on yachts, make them sign contracts, whatever. That is the most untrue, false allegation I've ever heard, and I've never felt like I had to respond to it because it's just so dumb. But one person came up with that rumor, and the whole internet ran with it. And the person that came with that rumor was getting interviewed, and they blocked the person that was interviewing them because they had no proof and nothing to say about it. It's completely made up, and the whole internet runs with it, and now people believe it. It's so stupid. I hate that I even have to explain myself on it, but I'm younger than basically every girl I have signed except for like one. And that girl signed 4 months after her 18th birthday. So I have proof to back everything up if I need to, but it's just so dumb that people really like believe that type of shit and they want to believe it because they hate me and they just can't accept the fact that I'm doing well in life. But haters gonna hate and people are gonna make up shit and I just gotta fucking respond to shit more times. But I hate bringing attention to false allegations because it's just so dumb. But none of that shit's even true. Minors can't even fucking sign contracts, and half of you guys are retarded for believing that.
Now you can tell he's serious because there wasn't a single girl in this video, not even in the background. He told all his girls to wait inside while he records this video, and they're all staring at him like Squidward staring at SpongeBob and Patrick. And also, an untrue false allegation is just a false allegation. That's like saying I'm not never guilty. What?
That is the most untrue, false allegation I've ever heard.
He also said that he had proof to back up everything he's saying if he needed it.
That girl signed 4 months after her 18th birthday. So I have proof to back everything up if I need to, but
having to try to explain that you're not grooming underage girls falls under the category of needing it. Regardless of who you are, when someone is accusing you, plus posting screenshots, pacing around your backyard, not even looking at us in the fucking eyes, shows us you're trying to downplay whatever's going on because you know these people have just as much information on you as you do on yourself. Because believe it or not, when people like Jack and Aiden Ross hire someone, that's basically an all-access pass to their fucking lives. So the moment that person gets fucked over, they start bringing out all the skeletons in your closet bone by fucking bone. More recently though, after Natalie got virtually nowhere with her allegations, this guy at MatthewJGL on Twitter decided that he wanted to try and expose Jack after he got fired. I didn't just mention that, did I? And before we get into this, I want to be clear that I think this guy's a fucking weirdo also. He'll say shit like this trying to be cool and then be like, these two niggas on the left are gay as fuck. Have you seen your profile picture? This looks like the gay version of someone who is already gay. This picture is the equivalent to men having sex. I would fire you just based on how fucking stupid you look. You look like someone put a picture of Kavos through a gay filter. But regardless, he has made some accusations. The first one is of him showing some text messages between him and Jack where he's telling Jack that he doesn't want to edit his OnlyFans content anymore because it makes kids want to beat their meat, while odd that he thinks of that when editing OnlyFans videos. This does show that Jack is fully aware that kids are the ones he's advertising his OnlyFans content to. There isn't a single adult who's subscribing to his OnlyFans. It's literally kids trying to see if the girls he's with get naked. But you can see in the text that Jack doesn't give a shit about how Matthew feels and says, cringe. Imagine not wanting to make kids beat their meat. That's cringe. Real men like Alright, no, bleep it out. Nope. Jack then responds to this by saying, I said cringe because he acts like he's forgot as if he hasn't essayed multiple women and beat his dog nights before this. Also, we continued to work for OF Girls right after we stopped working together, so don't let him fool you. And this is how it went down. He only uses God's name when it helps him win over the opinions of others. He's fake. Would God's followers beat their dog and hit/threaten women? And then Matthew replies with, first off, it's God with a capital G. And it's like, now is not the time. And plus, if God saw your tweets, he would send you to the part of hell that only has black people and you would only be able to say the N-word. He doesn't even deny beating his dog. All he says is, keep saying I essayed multiple women and let's take that shit to court. Okay, cool, but you also didn't address how you kept on working with OnlyFans girls after complaining about working on OnlyFans content. The fact that this guy is the one who's calling him out shows how much of a dirtbag Jack actually is. If someone who is being accused of animal abuse can still somehow manage to look like the good person in this situation, then it's time to bust out that proof you said you had if you needed it. But Jack does the exact opposite and decides to say, I'm done dealing with internet trolls trying to bring me down. I know the type of person I am, and so does everyone else around me. People can make up all the shit they want and try to cope because they're terribly unhappy people. I'm done with this negative shit. I have billions to make, bitch. Fuck the haters. Now, of course, when the person you're calling out starts ignoring you, you do the next best thing people do in 2024, and that's go on a podcast and explain everything all at once instead of in a series of fucking tweets. Which is exactly what Matthew did when he went on the Joker podcast. I think this guy has a fucking filter with the Joker that he uses to interview people. But about 34 minutes in, Matthew is talking about how the FBI is going to look into Jack's businesses, and all the stuff he doesn't want to get looked at is going to be seen.
The federal part of it is going to get crazy. Like, they're going to look into his scheme, they're going to look into his organization and see all that he's doing, and he doesn't want that uncovered. It's going to turn one thing to a whole other thing. And at the end of the day, when I know I'm clear of all this stuff, they're gonna have to pull receipts. I'll give them my phone. I'll literally give them all my receipts, my messages. They could, the feds can look through everything, and they're probably gonna have to end up doing the same thing on the other side of things. And if they ever do get that information, they're gonna see how they faked all this stuff.
And then he gets asked, what exactly are they going to be looking into? Are they going to be looking at your awesome OnlyFans editing skills? Are they going to be looking at how much cum you saw while editing? You gotta elaborate for us real quick, champ.
So what are you claiming that could be illegal that he's doing? That is criminally illegal.
Well, I would start with the fact that he gets girls, he gets their social security number, he creates a bank account, informs the girl that it's going to be conjoined, but in reality, it's just the girl. Jack then pays out himself at the end of the month because the OnlyFans has to be registered by the female, and the money has to go to her account with her social. So then Jack goes into the account that he created with her social, pays himself, then pays the girl. So at the end of the year, when the IRS comes and they're like, hey, you made millions.
They're going after the girl. They're not going after him.
How I came to the realization of this was from Jack himself when he said, when they started making a lot of money off Mitchie, he was like, dude, when the IRS comes for Mitchie, I'm going to be gone.
He said I'm going to be gone. That's what he told you?
Yep, word for word. Because he was freaking out looking at the revenue, like,
so tax fraud.
Yeah, dude, well, I wouldn't necessarily say like tax fraud, but at the end of the day, like, yeah, he is just benefiting himself out of this.
So essentially, Jack is trying to avoid paying taxes on the money these girls are making by paying himself directly out of their accounts instead of claiming it as a business transaction, which, as you guys just heard, he can literally do himself because he has these girls' social security numbers. And I guarantee you that he doesn't let these girls know that he's doing that. I'm sure he tells them that he's going to take a cut out of their earnings, but I doubt he's like, I'm going to take it out of your account directly, so regardless, you're still going to have to pay the taxes on the full amount account you made. But hey, you also get to live in my house, which might be a fair trade-off to some, but I'm 100% sure if he led with that when he's trying to sign these girls, he'd be chilling with a bunch of fucking nothing. So this next part, they show another message between Jack and Matthew where he says he's going to make his now girlfriend McKinley sign an OF contract, but make it seem like she was signing waivers, saying she's only going to get $3K a month and I'm going to keep the rest. And then the holy child son of God Matthew is like, ha ha ha, raped. Come on, at least 4K. She's hot, you know. But these guys completely ignore that and then just skip over that and go to the next message.
And I'm going to go ahead and put this up on the screen real quick. This is where Jack is saying that he's going to make McKinley sign a waiver / NDA, but really it's an OnlyFans contract. $3,000 a month and a t-shirt. I keep the rest. And then he says fax 2 t-shirts. And then there's another thing that says, or like a DM within a DM.
So if you couldn't tell by now, it's piece of shit versus piece of shit. Even though this guy Matthew is trying to expose Jack, he is inadvertently exposing himself. After getting asked how does he know all this, he tells him that he was with Jack every step of the way.
So how do you know, hold on. How do you know that, Matt, how do you know that he did this?
I was there with him every step of the way.
That's called being an accomplice, and if Jack is going to get in trouble with the feds because of what he's messaging, then this message alone makes you just as guilty as him. I'm actually conflicted because the longer this video goes, the more it's just turning out to be about 2 pieces of shit instead of 1. And this next part doesn't do anything to help change that, because Jack's girlfriend McKinley responded to all of this in a series of 8 note pages worth of shit that I will spare you by summarizing it. Basically, Matthew wanted her to come down to Miami, and she's like, no thank you, but after hearing that Jack and this girl Michelle wanted her to come down, she's like, alright, I'm down. When she gets there though, Matthew was the only one to let her in the house, which ended up with what she says was him trying to occasionally put his hand down her pants as she was fake sleeping, waiting for someone else to get home. She then says he again tried to force himself on her before being so scared she asked to sleep in Jack's bed because her room was right across from Matthew's. Now she obviously just wanted to get this out as fast as she could, and I don't know if it was because of that, but her story is all over the place. In just part 2, she said she ran into Jack's room, got pulled out, went back into Jack's room, and while in there, Matthew ran out and went into her room to confront her, but she's in Jack's room. Then apparently everyone had to kick down the fucking door and tell him to chill while he's by himself because everyone's in Jack's room? Again, what? And while she said she was never into him and only wanted to be friends, Matthew has posted videos of them kissing, and she doesn't look like she was backing away like she said she was doing whenever he tried to do that when she got there, which makes it a double what the fuck? All of this is on both their Twitters, so you can go and try and decipher for yourself. I don't know why I'm mad, but after this, we basically just gotta pick the lesser of the 2 evils. Are we going to side with the guy who tricks girls into signing OnlyFans contracts so he can avoid paying taxes on the million he makes to attract more girls into that toxic finance loop? Or are we going to side with the guy who was complicit with all of that, but now has a change of heart after being fired? Oh yeah, and he's also an alleged animal abuser, which he didn't deny, and instead chose to complain about not capitalizing the G in God. You gotta choose your battles, and something like this, not that big of a deal when you're being accused of way worse. But yeah guys, I hate this kind of drama. You should have seen my face when I saw that McKinley girl had a 9-page response. I was like, oh my god, this is not happening. And there was no way I was going to listen to this fucking 2-hour podcast with these idiots. I skipped to a random part in the podcast to see if I'd catch anything interesting, and I shit you not, this is what I got.
Yeah, it looks like Jack's actually beefing with Tristan Tate right now. He posted a picture of money in a duffel bag next with his watch.
What?
Tristan Tate said, he's poorer than me and a fag.
Oh my god.
If you want to watch the full stream where that Joker guy interviews Matthew, I left a link to it in the description. Plus, the homeboy Breon is making a longer video going more in depth into the messages that's already out. If not, it's coming out very soon. But I'm gonna be brutally honest, this is about as much as I can take when I'm making these kind of videos. If something does happen, I will make a follow-up, but I'm starting to realize that I've been taking editing those on the hunt videos for granted. See you guys tomorrow in what is probably going to be a shorter video than this one. Peace.